Hello, it's me again. I wrapped the shell. It's not too bad. I kind of screwed up doing this. I tried to remove it on the tender and it screwed everything up, so I'm gonna leave it the way it is. I had a little bit of a hoopty right there with the clear coat. It wasn't completely dry and a paper towel hit it. I'm not gonna sand it and fix it. It's not that important to me. I added some stuff on the top to simulate some detail. I put the fans back in. I added some stuff on the sides. Anything I could do to make it look like the picture. Now this is a digital wrap. I created a file. I'll show you what a test print looked like. So I created a file, and this was a screw up. As you can see, the printer head hit right here, but anyway, I created a file, mirror image the other side, did the tender. These are air grates or something like that. I don't know what the hell they are, but anyway, simulated those. And then the side of the tender and the locomotive had some raised detail. Let's see if we can see that. So you can see this. There's still some air underneath the clear vinyl. It hasn't shrunk out. It'll probably take a couple of weeks for that to go away. I'm really not sweating it. But anyway, what this is I plotted this stuff out. I printed and wrapped the train. Then I put these blocks, these simulated areas, over the wrap. And then I cleared it and cleared it and cleared it and cleared it and cleared it so that the print won't rub out. Then when I was done with that, I put the fans back in. I still got to put a logo in the center. That's going to go on there separate. I did not put that on the print because pulling around the corners, it may have not have been in the center and things would have got screwed up. So put that on there separately. So that's the tender. I did the same thing with the locomotive. These pieces here that got grates on them, I don't even know what they are, but I chopped them off the actual shell. There was one on either one. I cut them off and then I sanded them down so they were thin and glued them back on and put two of them here. And I added whatever it was that I saw in the photograph that looked like, you know, simulated whatever it was. All this stuff is raised. You can see the same thing here. You can see that it's got lines on it. Those are not from the shell originally because I sanded all the rivets and everything off. So that's that. I did put a little bit too much clear and it got underneath the material and it had some sort of chemical reaction and caused it to bubble up a little bit. It doesn't really bother me that it's like that. So then there's the logo and the side door, whatever it is. And I cut the windows out. Now, I do have to put the glass back in and the lights, and this needs to have a red and a green light and a red and a green light on either side. So when it's going forward, the lights up green, and when it's going in reverse, they light up red. And on the tender, it flip-flops. When you're going in reverse, the lights turn green, and then when you're going forward, they turn red, as if, you know, they're marker lights or whatever. So I'll get around to doing that. But so this was a River Rossi tender. I cut it. You can see I added a piece in there. It's kind of crude. The bottom of this on the sides are glued in little tabs to keep the height correct so it can't smush in. And how I did that was I lined it up to where I wanted it when these vents weren't in there, and I reached in with my finger, put a little glue, and then slid a piece of Lexan down, waited for it to cure, did the next one and the next one, and then I pulled the shell off and I doubled up on the thickness so you couldn't actually push it down. So there's a plastic tab here. This slides underneath, and then there's a post that goes from left to right that's doubled up and a hole drilled in the middle of it, and that's where the screw is to hold this. And then of course I glued a coupling in there, which unfortunately, if the coupling breaks, I'll have to Dremel that out. I shouldn't have did that, but I wasn't thinking. So that's a KD coupler, so other than the spring popping out, it should be fine. It shouldn't break. I haven't put a coupler on this yet, and there is no mounting on this yet. It's just wedged on there pretty tight. And there's a ton of lead in this thing. If I had a scale, I would weigh it, but there's a ton of lead. So what I've done with the Rivarossi front truck here is these things they have horrible pickup because they're so sloppy. Now, underneath the spring, there's a rivet. I sanded down the top of the rivet and I soldered a wire to it. And you can see that wire moving right there. There's a black wire. That ensures that when this moves, I don't lose electrical power. I changed the traction tires. These things have a lot. These are black rubber. They have a lot more traction. I still got to put the rest of the screws in this thing. A lot more traction, and I put a heavy spring underneath this wheel, so it takes an awful lot of weight to push down on it. That way, when it's on the track, there's a little bit of force on this wheel. On the 080s, this wheel kind of flops around. This wheel flops around. There's two wheels that have springs. I left the factory spring in this one, and I put a big spring in this one, so it takes an awful lot of force to push it in. That just ensures that these two tires are actually touching the track, so I'll get maximum pulling power. I'd say this thing will probably pull 20 cars, maybe a little bit more. It's got a ton of weight in it. The motor is definitely strong enough. So we'll test it out later on, and then I'll shoot a video. I just wanted you to see the updates on this. And one other thing. I made a bottom to this that's mounted to the chassis. So when you look at it on the side, you don't see all the way through it. So it looks more real. It's not only is that there to hide everything, but I actually have lead sitting on top of it, and that there's no way for the lead to slide down and hit the wheels. So that's the other reason why I did it. So that's that. Anyway, thank you for watching. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment.